In this video, I will show you my analysis for the upcoming weeks of some of the most traded Forex pairs. And although you might get inspiration from this, I always advise you to do your own analysis too for the best trading possible. So welcome back everyone. As I said earlier, this will be an analysis of some of the most traded Forex pairs for the upcoming week, which will be the week of the 30th of August till the 3rd of September, the end of the holidays, so still probably less volume than normally, but still it's good to get into the market and get into trading again after this holiday. So before we get into the analysis of the actual pairs, and the pairs will be euro against the Australian dollar, euro against the New Zealand dollar, the pound against the Australian dollar, the pound against the New Zealand dollar, the pound against the US dollar and against the Canadian dollar, and the pound against the Japanese yen. So those will be it. And before we get into the analysis, I wanted to look at the economic calendar, where I only have the medium and high impact events next week. And what I always do at the start of at 1 week, I will look at all the events that are upcoming. And I will look at some of the medium ones, because some of the medium ones I actually think should be high. And definitely at the high ones, and I'll just remember them. Writing them down would be even better. So we have some PMIs. I'm not too worried about that. That's early Monday. I don't think they will make the market move too much. And then we have the inflation, the interest rate of the RBA. So that is important to know, definitely, because we are analyzing two pairs with the Australian dollar. This is not relevant for us or for me. Euro, we'll definitely keep an eye on that, but most of the times these do not provide too much movement either. But definitely keep an eye on it and trade with caution the day before, or if you have any pending orders, possibly remove them. Business confidence, not too interested in that. Retail sales of Italy, also not too interested. This one I am. PMI of Canada. Then we have some Greek unemployment rate, not very interested in that either. Balance of trade of Germany, interested to look at that, but it depends on what the outcome is. Most of the time these trade balances do not provide a lot of movement. Definitely if you come to think that this is only Germany, and Germany is only one of the countries using the euro, although it should be said that it is one of the biggest ones. And then jobless claims, and initial jobless claims, very important. We'll definitely keep an eye on that. Russia, not important. And on Friday, a lot of GBP things, pound events. So that's very interesting. I'm analyzing a lot of pound pairs. So I need to be cautious on Friday, but they are very early, so cautious on Thursday evening already. Unemployment rate Canada, also important. So that's about it. I will write them down. I gave you some, you can pause this video right now and I'll give you some time to write them down too. Just to remind yourself of them. You can also make a small online calendar for them. All very handy while trading, because you have to know these, otherwise you might get stopped out, or basically they will disrupt your original trading. So right now we will go on to the analysis of the actual pairs. So welcome back everyone. So we will start with the euro against the Australian dollar. We have two charts, a weekly one and a daily one, and for every pair I will go over these charts, over both of these charts, and when trading I always combine them. First look at the weekly, then at the daily, and then possibly at the weekly again, just to find the best setups for trades. And basically what my analysis is a collection of 4 EMAs, 200, 100, 50 and 28 in periods, and then some trend lines and Fibonacci retracement where it is possible. And then these boxes are basically key levels, so support and resistance. So we'll start with the weekly euro against Australian dollar. We'll definitely look out for the this area with the trend line, 2 EMAs. But overall you should be cautious. I don't see a real trend in the weekly. I mean, you might say an uptrend, but I always look at the EMAs for confirmation, and they do not confirm it yet. So it could also be a formation of a ranging pattern in price. Then we'll look at the daily, and again we have this trend line coming up here. Possibly be able to take a trade here. You can also see that there is a little key level, maybe around the 1.6. I don't know if I will take this personally. I would rather wait for the 1.59, but it could be a nice one if you spot some more confluences. So here we can actually see the formation of an uptrend. Still looking for confirmation on the weekly, but we have to keep in mind that this might be a good time to enter a long trade, possibly for the long term. And we'll go over to the euro against the New Zealand dollar. Start with the weekly again. Here you can see price has been very ranging here. So basically I wouldn't use my analysis is very trend based, and here there is just not a lot of trend at this moment. So move to the little. So I'd be cautious. I would wait for a breakout either up here, so above the 1.72, or if it goes down here. I would look at this trend line though for a trend, possibly at this level, the 1.6580. That could be nice, but I would not see that as a swing trade, more as a day trade, just a small trade, take 30 or 50, possibly 80 pips. Yeah, the same here. This could be a nice trade, but I wouldn't bet too much on it. I'd rather see it break and break all the way down this key level as well, and then take a retest just to get some confirmation on where the price is going, because here you can see very well that the price is just moving sideways. So not a lot of opportunities, I think, on this pair. And we got the Australian dollar against the Great British Pound. First weekly, see that the price has been going up a lot. So a high risk trade would actually be the retest of this key level. It already did kind of in the week of the 11th of July. But I think you can take another one, and if you would like a little bit more low risk, I would take it at around the 1.8250 level, just to get that trend line and some EMA. Also here, still looking for confirmation that this will be an uptrend. The EMAs are below it, which is good, and the price is going up, so that shows it too. But from here it could also just form another ranging pattern. In the daily we actually see a very clear uptrend. So here you would be, or I would be looking for some long trades. I think this could be a good trade right here. The third touch of the trend line, I have to draw that correctly, right there, together with a key level and a 50 period EMA. So I think I will take this, but I will also take a trade at the 1.58, possibly to hedge against this trades, against this trade, or just to reduce my risk. Like here I put, if I were to risk 1% of my account, I would put 50% here, or 0.50% here, 0.50% there, just to get some more good exposure and to get a better average entry level price. So yeah, those points are very interesting. And then we'll move over to the Great Britain pound against the Canadian dollar. We'll start with the weekly again. And I saw this earlier today, as you can see here, this pair is just moving sideways a lot. Basically moving between these price levels, which I don't really like. But then again, here you can see that this trend line, for example, did work. So maybe some weekly trend lines work. And if we go on with that methodology, we can actually try to take a trade at the 1.7 level. Then it needs to get down a little bit through this third touch of the trend line. But then I think it would be a very nice trade. So 1.7, possibly a little bit above at the trend line. I think that's a 3 confluence trade. Very interesting to look at. Then we move over to the daily, which is less interesting. I think the price is very choppy, and I would rather wait a few more weeks after the holiday to really take a stance on this pair. Definitely on the daily time frame, weekly time frame, I would be taking this trade. But on the daily, I just think price has not really decided which way it wants to go. You see some high spikes up. Basically, we need to see this break, this key level, or this break to get some confirmation on where the price is going. And then we have the Great Britain pound against the Japanese yen. Was in a very long uptrend, but now it looks like price has slowed down. So there are two things that can happen right now. Either we have what I think will happen is that the price will move sideways for a bit, and after that it will either shoot up again or keep moving sideways and find another trend, like going down. But yeah, at this point, possibly because I think it will move sideways. I think it will move sideways between these points. So taking a sell at the 153 level, I think could work. It would be very high risk though, because we don't really have a confirmation of where the whole ranging area will be. But I think it will be between these price points, maybe with some outliers after a while, but I think the 1.53 could be working. And if you want some more risk, you can also take a trade at the 149 level. It still has that 38.2 Fibonacci level, which is very strong, and the 200 EMA, which is very strong, together with the key level and the psychological key level. So I would not take this because it has already been hit 1, 2, 3, 4 times. But you could take that if you want a little bit more risk. And what I would do is basically only take this if it breaks and you can get a break retest. And then we have the Great Britain pound against the New Zealand dollar. As you can see here, also quite moving sideways on the EMAs, or you can see by the EMAs, but it has developed some sort of an uptrend. What I would look for is a touch on this trend line, possibly at the 1.95 area. I think that could work, but that needs to happen next week, I think, or maybe the week after. And I'd still always be cautious. Just if you see big movements down, I would not take it, because most of the times these EMAs, they can provide support or resistance, but when the price is moving sideways, they tend to provide less support and less resistance. So then this would only be based on the 1.95 psychological key level and the trend line, which in my opinion isn't too many of confluences. Don't really see any sell levels. Yeah, I would sell at this trend line, but I think the chance that this price will hit this trend line in the upcoming weeks is very slim. But if it does hit it, I would take it. This would be the ideal entry. which will be in about 3 weeks, 2 weeks. But always keep that in mind. And here again, just this price is doing very weird things. Here it went in a small downtrend, and here it looks like it's in an uptrend, but price is already breaking through the first 2 EMAs. Personally, I think that means that the price will develop some sideways movement again. Most of the times when this happens, that the price breaks through the first 2 EMAs, it will also break through the third one, and it will find more resistance in the 200 EMA compared to the other 3s, but still it will also break through the 200 EMA. Still, to be honest, I think the 1.95 based on the trend line could be a nice trade, just for the reason that 1.95 could be the lower band of this ranging movement, and I would take the bet on that. And then possibly the most important pair, I think this is one of the most traded ones. It's nicknamed the cable, and it is the Great Britain pound against the US dollar, as you can see. We'll start at the weekly. To me, there's not a lot going on right here. I would try to take a third touch on this trend line, but I would like to combine it with a key level, and I don't really see any key level right now. I mean, right here it has the 1.41 psychological key level, but that's a small psychological key level, and it's just above with the 1.4, which is very much stronger. So I would rather wait for this third touch or miss it. I would rather wait for it if it comes together with a 1.4, and otherwise just miss it, because only the third touch on the weekly, it could work very well. So if you have any reason to think it would work, be sure to take it, but I wouldn't just based on the trend line. Then we see some EMAs here as well, together with the 1.34. That looks interesting to me, but the only reason why I would not do it is because right below where the price is at right now, there is, in my opinion, quite a strong key level. And what tends to happen when the key level breaks, when a strong key level breaks, that means that the price will go down even more. People getting out of trades, stop losses being hit, that kind of stuff happens. So that would reduce the chance that this will be a good trade, because this is just under the key level. And thereby I would be cautious. Maybe if price breaks a lot through this key level, so the key level becomes weaker. So when it breaks a little bit, quite a lot of times when it becomes weaker, I would take the 1.34 trade. And when looking at the daily, we can see that there's actually nothing at the 1.34, that I did not spot anything there, which only reduces the chance that I would take it. Yeah, so the same, we can go back to the pound against the Japanese yen really quickly, which moves quite alike, like the Great Britain pound against the US dollar. The same way you can take a short order at the 153 level. In that way you can also take a short at the 1.4. 1.4 is even a stronger psychological key level. So I'd rather take this one and then leave out the Great Britain pound against the Japanese yen. And again, with the same thought in mind that possibly a new range will start to form, and that could be the upper bound of the range, and otherwise it could provide enough volatility for a short day trade, and that this, for example, could be the upper bound of the range. But we'll have to see that in the upcoming weeks. So I will possibly, I think I will take this short order right here, but I will stay very cautious to that. I put the stop loss at break even very quickly, just to mitigate the risk that this will actually be the upper bound, or that it will move even further. So that were the analysis on these Forex pairs. If you have any question on the analysis, or if you have something else to say about them, please do that in the comments, and I will make sure to reply as quickly as possible. And for now, this is the outlook for the upcoming week, and I will see you in the next week with the outlook for the week after that. Bye.